Welcome everyone. This is Ese Ofurhie. Welcome to Tuesday's Talks with Ese. I am founder and publisher of ENSPIRE Magazine. ENSPIRE stands for enlightening, newsworthy subjects, providing inspiration and real entertainment. And this is a space for real conversations about growth, business, and becoming who you're meant to be, because that pretty much was my journey with ENSPIRE. We are talking about the state of media in 2026. Now, this may not appeal to everybody because not everybody's in media, but for those of you who may not be aware, there's a big shakeup going on. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the news, but as far as like an independent publication and how all of that trickles down to us, it's a big deal. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Again, I attended a career summit for Dream, Reach, Inspire by the amazing Phil Tate. Emmy award-winning broadcaster. He's a philanthropist. He has an organization that he does an event every year at a school, at his old school, where he gives back to the kids, and that's definitely something that's important. So I've been blessed to be a part of that and, talk to the kids about media, let them know what it is that I do, what started it. And to hear kids already know what they want to do in 10th and 11th grade, that's a big deal. I used to be a substitute teacher, so when I hear these kids already know what they want to do and the industries or the jobs that they want to do that because they see someone like themselves doing it. So I don't know, we all already know how important representation is, and that was so adamant there, speaking to those kids and, hearing what type of roles that they wanted, what type of jobs that they wanted to do when they get out of school. So it was really, really important. What are these kids going to be getting their information from outside of Instagram, outside of a blog? Where will they actually be getting content, information that's relevant to them and what they have to do with their lives? For me, I'm currently teaching in schools part-time, doing after-school programs to get kids acclimated back in media. Some schools had a newspaper. They no longer have staff who wants to do it, so there's an interest for it, but they need help. So that's where I come in. I've been going to a couple of schools located in the Bronx, and helping these students create and publish their newspaper. So that's been that's literally what ENSPIRE has created for me, is to create an opportunity to be able to tell our youth and educate them about communication, about news, how to tell stories, the different types of roles that are in media now that they can do. So that's been really exciting. And again, if I'm telling these kids about media, but yet look what's happening in media now, it feels like a bit of a contradiction. So that's the struggle that we're going through right now as far as independent media is concerned, and what media, news, and information is going to be looking like for these kids in the future. So I want to, again, part of this is just explaining to y'all what I do, what's been going on with ENSPIRE, and keeping it 100% real, right? So one of the things that's been happening in media is advertising dollars. They have been drying up heavily. It was already a struggle to get in this game in the first place as an independent publisher, competing with all major publications that got $1 billion backing them, or, been around for years and have had funding, as opposed to organizations like ENSPIRE, where bootstrap, ground up, I literally have created this brand on my own. So with that, as an independent publisher, ad dollars are not what they used to be. So the struggle is real. Y'all used to see me advocating, doing all this stuff for Google. A lot has dried up since then. So it's like, okay, what are we supposed to do? We also got bills to pay. I can't keep pushing this mission on a mission. There has to be something backing my mission. So that has been, the struggle going on with independent media now, is how are we going to get funding? How are we going to get that financial support outside of, selling digital issues? Main funds was coming from our advertisers, and now that's dried up. So just to give y'all a little perspective of what's going on in media. So pretty much, one, what's happening? Writers are losing their jobs. Brands are shutting down. You're seeing a lot of controversy behind a lot of major organizations because money's funny. That's what's been going on. Things have been getting dried up. People are being replaced. Some are being eliminated, and watching others keep their roles. And we all know why. We're paying attention to this administration and how they are controlling media right now. So it's just a lot going on, but that doesn't mean that we should stop. As an independent publisher, one of the things that we have to do is keep going. We can't just stop because what's going on in the economy. This is our livelihood. I was pretty much speaking about media, what's going on, state of media for independent publisher. Everybody's been seeing what's been going on, writers losing jobs, brands shutting down. Why does that matter if it's not happening to me? It doesn't have to happen to me. It's trickling down to independent publishers. So whatever happens in the major is going to trickle down to everybody else. There's a lot of things that we are used to seeing, and we're not seeing anything. We're not seeing that anymore. Certain writers writing particular stories, right? We're not seeing those anymore. Certain types of stories, they're literally being ignored, depleted, and no longer talked about. So these are the things that's affecting us, and no offense to all the major networks out there, but these are the type of things that we're encountering. They may not be, but it's trickling down to us. A lot of writers are out of the job. A lot of writers have their salaries that were from major publications, right? And they're coming over to independent publishers expecting the same thing, but we were going through a struggle prior to that. So again, that's why when I ask for your support, I ask for those of you to come to the website, subscribe, purchase an issue, support any initiative that ENSPIRE is going through. That's because that's the reason. We got to do more. We can't just put out issues and, we can't just put out issues and think, all right, this is going to sustain livelihood or sustain the brand. For me, I'm a positive publication. I only talk about the positive things that's been going on and tell positive stories as it relates to a lifestyle. And one of the things I definitely push with ENSPIRE is you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be positive. So that's what makes ENSPIRE so great, is that we can talk about anything, anyone, just as long as it's in alignment with that type of structure. If you who are, viewing or tuning in have noticed the change in media, and what do you think about it? A lot of our stories are not being told, and it's just so much more that's going on in the world that our youth need to know these stories, and they're not going to have access to that. So that's what I fight for. That's what I fight for with ENSPIRE itself, publishing quarterly issues, putting out a newsletter, which I appreciate if you all can subscribe to. Go to www.inspiremag.com and make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. Or whether it's an initiative, like I said, I am pushing for an ENSPIRE curriculum going into New York City public schools and charter schools with my own program. I have been mentoring young adults, these high school kids and college students across the country for about maybe 8 to 10 years now. And that's on my own, based on my own professional experience and how I've created ENSPIRE. What I teach them is based on that. And I have a very great success rate. A lot of these kids, they end up getting a whole new type of perspective on what they want their career to be, or what their values are, or what they think they should stand for, what they should look for in a career. So a lot of things I do is training these kids on how to select their career choice, knowing what job environment is good for them. I don't want anybody doing a job that they hate. Okay, that's just one of the things that I just learned from a long time ago. So I really do pride myself in my initiative in infiltrating the educational system based on what I have created with ENSPIRE and its mission, which is being truthful, telling stories, uplifting others, and educating our community on how they can be better. So with that in alignment, I have been able to create an ENSPIRE curriculum. If you know any local programs that we can collaborate with, hit us up at ENSPIRE Magazine at gmail.com. There's a lot of opportunities out there that I may not know of. So that's also why I'm bringing back these Tuesday talks. So that way everybody can hear what's going on. And if you all know of an organization that we can collaborate with, please pass this information on. I'm definitely excited. I keep doing career days with schools that I used to teach at. And one of the things that I pride myself in is that I can reach these kids. Why not? And I think that's something we all should kind of take an interest in, because the youth need us badly. Badly. I'm going to say that. The youth needs us badly. They need to understand communication. They need to understand what is truth. They need to understand how to tell stories and value that and know the meaning of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I've been pushing for with ENSPIRE. So again, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Tuesday's Talks with Ese. I would definitely love to get some feedback for those of you who don't catch this live. What's been your experience understanding media? What's been your perspective of what's been going on? Do you agree or disagree with what's going on in media? A lot of journalists are getting fired. Why? Major networks are cutting certain programmings. Why? And that just goes to show, if we're going to continue to not see things that we're used to, then we should just build our own. Literally. I started ENSPIRE off that same ideology. There just was something I wasn't seeing, and I needed to be a better person. So I felt at that time the only way for me to be a better person was to create what I wanted to see. And 12, 13, 14 years later, I see the magic. I see what it's done. So again, I'm a prime example of what it means to want something better for yourself. If you don't see it, you create it. You create it for yourself and you create it for others, and you'll be surprised of how many people you can positively affect, how many people you can encourage, and how many people you can uplift. And that's just been my story with ENSPIRE. So pretty much that's, again, for those of you who have not seen me in some time, who are not familiar with my story, we'll get a little bit more into that as the weeks goes on. But I definitely wanted to tap in with everyone, reacclimate you with the Tuesday Talks, and how I want to reach you all is, being real, having a conversation and talking about something that's relatable, right? Because again, we can't talk about nothing we ain't been through. And last time I checked, a lot of us don't want to talk about stuff because we feel like we're the only one, but we're really not. And we actually do open our mouths and we do speak our truths. We speak our stories. Other people get uplifted. Other people get encouraged by that. Other people may step out their shadow and want to talk about their story as well. So I'm one of those. I'm an advocate. Let's just get out. Let's do it. I've been told, let's not wait no more for these Tuesday Talks. Let's get back into it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to share with y'all. I'm excited to get y'all feedback. You know, please go to www.inspiremag.com. Check out our site. Check out the stories. Go to our YouTube page. Check out our interviews. And also, please, obviously, you're here tapping into our social media, but just know we don't just have Instagram, okay? We got Facebook. We got Twitter, because I still call it Twitter. I ain't calling it the other name. You know, and just support us. And when you see the light bulb, when you see the name, you know, like, comment, share, you know. You never know, you might have a friend who might need that type of upliftment and encouragement, and that's is always at Inspire, whether you're on our website or you're on our social media. So definitely appreciate those of you who have been supporting from the very beginning. That's why I'm still here, you know, and I've been able to build an amazing team that gives us this particular opportunity to do so. And that's the thing, again, if you don't bring about what's in your mind, don't expect no one to help you, right? So with that being said, we talked about, you know, the state of media right now, how it's affecting independent publishers, and pretty much it's affecting our money. It's affecting advertisers. Some of these advertisers, they want our audience, but they don't want to pay us for it. You're seeing a lot of influencers on red carpets and reporting because why? For some reason, that's what they feel is going to be the new thing, is because they reach more people, as opposed to actual media outlets. That's what they've been doing, is telling stories, covering events, and interviewing people, where now it's being turned over to the influencer nation. I'm not hating or nothing, but I'm just saying this is what's happening, and this is the reason why. So on top of media layoffs, on top of our stories being cut short or manipulated in some form, some shape or form, who is sharing information is changing. And not everyone who's sharing this information necessarily has the skill set to share it. That's just what it is. And it's been talked about, and it's been obvious. So, you know, for those of you who are not in media, just again, pay attention to the changes, to the people who are telling you the news, the people who are getting you the access to what you want. That's also what's changing in media. So imagine an independent publisher who's been doing this, and now we got to figure out a way, okay, how do we still get access to those events to tell our audience, because this is what our audience has been seeing, this is what our audience has been supporting. So again, it's a lot happening in media as an independent publisher when it comes to advertising, when it comes to coverage, when it comes to reach. A lot has shifted since I started this. And if you had told me this is what was going to happen when I had started Inspire, ooh, child, I would have done something else. Not even going to lie to you, because it's just a battle. And I'm not saying anything we go through in life is not going to be a battle, but man, this is something serious. Just to tell stories, truthful stories. Like, why is that being blocked? Why is that being like ignored to a point where it makes no sense that now we want to tell, like, why am I look that crazy because I want to tell the truth? Because that's what it is. And again, it's through community and it's through support from you all to support not just Inspire, but other independent publishers who are out there. You know, tap into what you got to tap into. Google something, find positive news, find something local going on in your area. Pay attention to, you know, other forms of media that's out there and support them. We're trying to reach you all for a reason, you know? And again, it's depending on the platform. It's all about community. So we're all building community. I am rebuilding the Inspire community and definitely looking for your support with all these changes that's going on. But again, we're elevating still. Inspire is still elevating. We're still going to give you quarterly issues. Last issue, we had Raheem Devon on the cover. I mean, I'm still doing this. So I'm really proud of that. As telling his story, telling his journey. You know, these are people that I I listened to for years, right? Because I'm probably the same age as most of them, right? These are people that I've listened to. Their music has affected my life in some shape or form because I love music, or their craft, right? And I'm able to just sit down and talk to them, and they keep it 100. They talk about their journey, they talk about their story, and that's what is in our last issue, the Innovators issue with Raheem Devon. Is it the Innovators issue? I might be getting it wrong. Elevation. That's how y'all know I've had a long day. Either way, elevation or innovation, make sure y'all go to www.inspiremag.com and check out our last 2 issues. You can also purchase copies digitally direct from our website, which is very important because that's direct support to us. If you do want to have an actual print copy, we have that as well, but that's not directly through the site. We're getting there, and that's part of the independent struggle. That's the real right there, you know, is making sure that I'm able to give my customers, my audience, quality, right? So this is how you get quality, is ordering the print issue through MagCloud, and you get the digital issue through our website. We also have a support link on the website. You can donate $3, $5, or $10, whatever it is. It'll help. It goes a long way, especially when it comes to being an independent brand / small business. What else is going on with Inspire? So we are working on our next issue. Very excited. That information will be coming out soon. Outside of that, you know, just make sure that you follow, continue to support the Instagram, continue to support our YouTube page and share it with others so that way they can join. And there's a lot that I will be talking about in these next few weeks. I want to say, give y'all a little hint of what we're going to be talking about next week. Oh, building while healing. That's going to be our topic next week, is building while healing. So, I'm just hoping that even though this is a short conversation, it's me talking to you whenever you get on here. I just hope that there was some value that you're getting from this conversation. There's some sort of understanding. If you don't know me personally, if you've seen one of my interviews or you've just seen the brand, this is the real, and we're looking for your support, and we're going to continue to have these type of conversations regardless of what's going on in the world. And that was a decision I made to keep ENSPIRE going, and definitely appreciate everyone's support. Excited to keep these conversations going because this shouldn't be a one-time thing. We're going to be here. Well, I'm going to be here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and I hope that you all will too. Spread the word. Let's be prepared. Have some questions. Just even if it's not a question, a suggestion, something. I appreciate to hear from all of you, to see how you feel about ENSPIRE, the brand, if you're noticing the changes, if you're noticing the evolution. And again, if you know of an organization that we can collaborate based on our mission, we want to educate our youth. Right. We also want to assist them with career skill sets, and that's something that I've been priding myself in, is building the youth up, letting them have the correct skill sets so they could be out there in the world. So with that being said, next week, we're going to be talking about building while healing. So please make sure y'all come back and tune in for Tuesday's talks. And again, I am your host. I am the founder and publisher of ENSPIRE Magazine, Ese Ofurhie. And until next Tuesday, stay safe, stay positive, and be yourself. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation.